A big shout out and thank you to our featured sponsors. Special thanks to Jane Haas Photography for sharing your elegant space with the Nurtured Woman podcast. Elevate your online presence effortlessly with Jane Haas's personal brand photography. Don't settle for less. Book your transformational session today. Call 732-673-9893. Get your home summer ready with Bleaches NC. Is your carpet looking tired or stubborn stains and odors lingering? Let Bleaches NC IICRC certified specialists use advanced technology to give your carpets and upholstery a fresh, sanitized look. Safe for your family and pets, they'll make your home feel like new. Mention the Nurtured Woman podcast for 15% off your first cleaning. Call 984-51-GRIME or 984-514-7463 today. Relocating to a new area can be stressful, especially when you're not sure where to start. That's where Kristen Dorninger, an expert real estate agent with Southern Homes of the Carolinas, comes in. With extensive knowledge of the Lake Norman area, Kristen is here to guide you in finding the perfect home. Whether you're moving across the country or just across town, she'll make the process smooth and straightforward. Call Kristen at 704-928-6573 today and let her help you find the right community to call home. Welcome to The Nurtured Woman, a podcast bringing you conversations from a wide range of guests, from medical and wellness practitioners to wine and culinary experts, fashion leaders, and other trusted field insiders. Join me, Michele Droll, your guide, as we delve into topics that inspire you. Good morning, friends. I have got a fun episode for you. We're continuing our bucket list travel series, and today we're heading to South Africa. My guest is Lindsay Smith. She's usually the one helping others plan their dream vacations, but this time she got to plan her own trip, and what an experience it was. She and her husband celebrated their anniversary with an unforgettable adventure. So settle in, maybe grab something to sip on, and come along with us. This one's full of great stories and moments you won't want to miss. Welcome back, Lindsay. Let's get started. Tell me about your special anniversary trip to South Africa. What made you decide to go to South Africa first off?
It was actually a top location for my husband. To be honest, I had to be kind of convinced a little bit to go. Mine was Greece, his was South Africa. We started talking about everything that we could do, and he sold me on the safari. So we had really gotten into a lot of outdoor activities, and so we started planning. And the more we started planning, the more we added, and the more excited I got about it.
Okay. Now, where did you travel from? You're from North Carolina, right?
Yes, we traveled from Charlotte and we flew into Cape Town.
So a direct flight.
Well, almost. So we flew up to Washington, D.C., and then actually a direct flight from Washington, D.C. to Cape Town, which was around 14 hours.
Oh my, wow. And what airlines was it?
United Airlines.
I'm curious, for a trip to South Africa, do you need to be physically fit?
Absolutely not. So most of what you're doing, of course, is you are confined to the safari vehicle. That is so you can get through and also for your safety. So we have the same group every day that we went on a safari in the morning and in the evenings. And so our trip was a wide range. It was my husband, myself, we are in our 40s. It was a mom, a dad, and an 18-year-old for his birthday. They were from Lyon, France. And then it was two widows who actually are best friends who traveled together from Texas.
Okay.
And it was wonderful, all different age ranges, but we all had a wonderful experience.
So when we talk about a trip to South Africa, can you give me the rundown on what we're looking at? What kind of a vacation is this?
So I think you're looking at kind of a two-part vacation. You're looking at a lot of people go towards Cape Town. And so Cape Town, of course, is more of a city. You've got botanical gardens there. You have wineries. You have shopping. You have that type of activity that you would think of as any major city or that you would travel anywhere in the world. It's really then that the second part becomes more of, I don't want to say rustic because you can definitely stay in a very, very nice safari lodge, but that's when it becomes your outdoor. It becomes all about the animals. I would really recommend doing both because they are very different. And while you're there, it really is a quick flight to hop between Cape Town and where we were, which was Kruger National Park.
So it's a 14-hour trip, right? if you're going to do 14 hours, you do it all.
Absolutely. And there's very easy flights getting in between the different areas, and we took advantage of those.
You worked with a company that you had found, and you will continue to work with that company in booking trips, correct?
Correct. So I had already planned trips for my clients. I personally use Kensington Tours. They do private guided travel. My husband and I chose them. They are more on the luxury end of travel, but they also, you're not traveling with the small tour group. There's no tour buses. There's none of that. We were able to customize our trip from start to finish with our budget. And so I had done that for my clients for many trips. And so I was very excited to be the client on this one and plan out my own trip. And so it got to be everything that we wanted it to be, down to them offering restaurant suggestions and helping us make those dining reservations.
So your own private concierge with you every single day.
Exactly.
Okay. What are some other draws? What else do you consider to be highlights of that trip?
Everyone asks about the safari. I'm going to say the safari is the biggest highlight. You just do not have that opportunity to be that in with nature, that close to nature, to really be able to benefit from these tour guides that have grown up in the bush. They are second and third generation guides. They really do have incredible connection and respect for these animals, that you don't feel unsafe when you are in the vehicle with them. So you will have a driver and a tracker, and the tracker is looking at prints on the ground. He is incredible at, identifying what is around him so you can go see these animals. I had even asked them at one point, there's a gun mounted on the top of the Jeep. And I said, how long have you been tracking? And both of them were over 20 years. And I said, how many times have you had to use the gun? And they said, never. And they said, we have a respect for these animals. They respect us. We respect them. They know that we are here to marvel at how incredible they are. And we know how to treat them and how to tell signs that they're done with us. They said that we never felt unsafe. And it was just incredible to see even the tracker sitting on the front of the Jeep interact with these animals, to have an elephant come right up and put his trunk in his face. And
that happened?
Yeah, we did. It was unbelievable. We played hide and seek with a baby elephant. I mean, he found us. He would jump behind a bush, jump out, do his trunk at us, and then jump back behind the bush. It was unbelievable.
Where was Mom?
She was just by watching. I think they understand. Of course, they're used to the Jeeps coming through, but I think they understand that we were there not to harm them. We were there to observe, to appreciate. We made no moves. Of course, the rule is you don't break the plane of vision on the Jeep.
What does that mean?
You don't stand up.
Oh.
You're sitting in the Jeep. You're one line of vision for these animals. Don't stand up. Don't flail your arms. Don't do that. Don't make sudden moves that would make them think that you're trying to be in their space. And they were perfectly fine to let us be in their area and watch them.
How close did other animals get to the vehicle? All these animals are so beautiful, but if they are up close and personal, that's a little scary.
It is. So we were lucky enough to see the big five, and now I'm going to forget them as they're, so we saw elephant, giraffe, hippo. The hippos are the ones that you can't get close to. Those, crazy enough, are pretty dangerous animals, and they're aware of that. So hippos, we actually got lucky enough to see rhinos and leopards. I would say the lions were probably one of my favorite experiences. We finally found the male lion and the females and the cubs all up on the side of the hill. And so we thought we were just going to look at them from afar until our Jeep turned and went off the road and pulled up beside the male lion.
Oh my gosh.
Male lion on one side, female and cubs on the other. And they just looked at us, and they just let us sit there quietly and observe and take pictures and take videos.
Were you talking or were you silent?
We whispered, so no loud noises, but they didn't mind. We made no aggression towards them. They made none towards us. And it was unbelievable. It was incredible.
And you felt safe sitting there?
I did. Of course you're a little worried. You're thinking, okay, what happens? You're thinking of okay, how fast can he get to the gun or the front of the Jeep? I don't want to hurt an animal. We had already been with them for a while. You could just tell that the animals were relaxed. So we were relaxed and just enjoying something that we don't know that we're ever going to be able to do again.
How long were you out there?
So we went for about 11 days.
But in the bush?
We were there for 4 nights.
So every day you would go out into the bush to see some different area.
It is an experience. So when you're there for safaris and for animals. And so everyone is on the same schedule. And we stayed at Pandora Game Lodge. We loved it. And there were, I want to say 6 or 7 huts only. And so we were a very small group. We all got woken up before the sun came up. We would all go to breakfast, have early pastries and coffees together. We would do a game drive in the morning. We would have breakfast around 10 a.m. We would have our nap time where everybody from 10 to 2, lunch at 2 o'clock, and then you head back out at 3. And then you do another 3 to 4 hours out. And you have your sundowner, which is your drink while the sun's going down. You park the Jeep and everybody gets out and has snacks and a glass of wine. While the sun's going down, and then you go back and have dinner.
That sounds so amazing.
You do it all again the next day.
So tell me about the lodge. What is that like? Is it elegant, or are we talking a tent?
So you can do both. Ours was definitely elegant. We had beautiful, I say hut, but I mean gorgeous, large bed with a seating area, big open bathroom with an in-floor tub. We had a beautiful porch that actually overlooked the savannah. And every afternoon we would go sit and we would watch, because we had a river behind us, and we would watch the elephants go by and the hyenas and hippos we could see out in the water. And we actually had elephants come up to our porch one day. They had said,
what an experience.
Yeah, they're like, just don't try to pet him and you'll be okay. But we had a little, I want to say like a hot tub thing that we didn't end up using, but we were sitting on the porch and all of a sudden a trunk came over looking for water. Trump came over, landed in, checking for water, and then went back out. And they were next to us. They were by the window. It was unreal. We're just sitting on our porch surrounded by elephants, just eating and doing their own thing. And they didn't mind that we were there.
Oh, my word. You'll never forget that.
Never.
Did you have anything really creepy come into your hut? Did something come into your hut that you didn't know what to do with?
So we actually did not see any large insects or anything. And I'm telling you, my biggest concern was I am a mosquito magnet. They will seek me out. Pro tip, go in Africa's wintertime, August, which is when we went. The mosquito count was way lower and they did not touch me. We had no problems actually with insects or any bugs. You have to keep your doors locked because the monkeys know how to use door handles. So you have a bigger chance, I think, of having a monkey enter your room and take some of the fruit, which it did to our neighbor who we had met. We met him for the safari that afternoon. He said, the monkey came in and took an apple out of my bowl. And we said, well, you didn't lock your door. You really do have to keep your doors locked. They're smart. And so I think you're at a bigger risk of a monkey coming in and taking something of yours.
So what is the temperature like in the winter? If you're going to go in August or September timeframe, what are we looking at temperature-wise there?
So the days were very comfortable. We were in the upper 70s by the time that we were really out during the day. We were very comfortable. The mornings were chilly and the evenings could get chilly, in the 50s, high 40s, 50s. The great thing is they put large blankets on the safari vehicle for you. And so every morning when we got in, each had a water bottle you could shove under your blanket. And in the evenings, they put water bottles in your bed. So when they turn down your bed and you go back in for the evening, they've shoved a warm water bottle in there for you. So it's so great.
Yeah, it sounds it. It really does. So there's certainly so much to experience and see. Other than the safari, talk to me about the other highlights of the trip.
So we really, really loved Cape Town, and we did actually feel very safe. So we did have a driver each day that kind of had some things planned for us. There are incredible wineries in Cape Town, and you could spend an entire day. You could spend more than one day. So any wine lovers, Cape Town is a wonderful place to go visit. Beautiful, beautiful wineries. There are gorgeous botanical gardens. We also went to another park, national park, where you're at the southernmost point. And so we got to see ostriches in the wild running around out there, all kinds of birds and different wildlife, beautiful views of the water. There are just so many different things that you can see. We unfortunately did not get to go up to Table Mountain. There is a cable car type vehicle that gets you up there that was closed for maintenance that they do every once in a while, but that's another thing that you can do as well. We walked ourselves to dinner every night.
Okay.
We stayed right in the city center. The food was amazing. I know people get concerned about when you're in other countries and, gastrointestinal things, people get very concerned. Neither of us had a problem with that. We stuck with the bottled water that's, ample. And it was just an unbelievable experience. And it was a beautiful city. And like any city, you've got, of course, because of everything going on over there, you've got different areas that are just not safe to be in. And so that's why I think it's important to have a travel agent, a guide, someone to help you through that and help you discern the best areas.
And I know that you guys are provided with travel advisory information. You're able to instruct your guests as to where to go, where not to go.
Yes. And so a big part of a trip like this, South Africa, anywhere that has potential for any sort of government, political unrest, anything, any travel advisories, either your travel agent or, and I work directly with Kensington for my clients. They partner with local governments and tourism boards. We're constantly looking at other travel advisories to see, for safety reasons, do we need to modify the itinerary and maybe do something different? And I think it's just very important to do that for the comfort level of you also being able to enjoy your trip.
Okay. You had mentioned to me that you had taken a cruise and you had seen a beautiful waterfall. Tell me about those two experiences.
Yeah. So before we left South Africa, we said my husband really, really wanted to see Victoria Falls. And Zimbabwe is not far. So we hopped on a short flight to Zimbabwe. We spent a couple of nights there. We were able to go see Victoria Falls, which was absolutely beautiful and incredible. It was definitely worth the trip over. And then we also were able to take a dinner cruise on the Zambezi River. And so you get to see hippos and you've got this wonderful meal on board and music and everything. And so it was another area that is one of those things that if you're already over there, easy flight, why not?
Okay.
And we didn't stay at a quote safari lodge while we were there, but we did stay at a hotel that had a protected savanna behind it.
Okay.
Or, area behind it. So we could sit on our porch and watch giraffes come up. And so we just continued the theme of the animals the whole trip. And it was wonderful.
We're coming right back. Don't go away. Expert cleaning you can trust. Is your carpet looking tired? Stains that won't budge? Smell not so pleasant? We've got you covered. At Bleaches and our IICRC certified specialists use state-of-the-art cleaning technology to remove dirt, stains, smells, and allergens from your carpets and upholstery, leaving them fresh, sanitized, and looking their very best. We take pride in long-lasting results with a meticulous approach that's safe for your family and pets. Exclusive offer, mention the Nurtured Woman podcast and save 15% on your first cleaning. Call 984-51-GRIME or 984-514-7463 to book your appointment today. That's Bleaches NC. Did you know that homes listed with the real estate agent sell faster and for more money than those sold by the owner? It's true. And when it comes to selling, no one works harder for you than Kristen Dorninger, a trusted real estate agent with Southern Homes of the Carolinas. She knows the Lake Norman market inside and out, and she's got the marketing, the strategy, and the negotiation skills to get your home sold for top dollar. If you're thinking of selling, don't just list it. Sell it with Kristen. Call Kristen Dorninger today at 704-928-6573. Welcome back to The Nurtured Woman. Now let's dive back into our conversation. All right, so if I say to you, I want to go to South Africa, give me a summary, a quick list of the sites I definitely want to see.
Oh, yes. Oh, there's so many. So I'm going to definitely say you need a winery day.
Okay.
Winery day for sure. I'm going to say go to Table Mountain. That is definitely a sight to see. You need to go to the southernmost point.
Okay.
Beautiful. Oh, I forgot. We got to see the penguins.
I love penguins.
Yeah, we got to see the
They're
penguins.
so fun.
I don't know how I forgot that because I was squealing like a child as we were walking through, and they're just not a beach, and they just live there. And the South African penguins are the best. You have to go see South African penguins. Victoria Falls, if you're hopping over
And
to
BC Cruise.
yeah.
Okay. And of course, the safari. And that is how many days right there?
We were there about 10 or 11 days because
Okay.
you've got to think about, you do have to travel. We had a couple inner flights that we had to get from places. But yeah, I mean, I would say that there wasn't one thing that we got that we said we really didn't need to do that.
So recognizing that this is a bucket list trip and it's not something that you do every year, what are we looking at for a rate?
So I would say let's exclude airfare because that is always a variable cost. So you can never know. And, depending on the type of cabin that you want to fly in, I would say if you want to do a private guided adventure like that, I would say 20,000 and up would be a good budget. You can definitely go up. I would say 20,000 is a pretty good starting point on that. For two people.
Okay.
And that would be private guided. So that is, you're not stuck on a tour bus or, at the safari, you might be in a Jeep with other people, but you're not stuck and you can actually choose every piece of your trip.
$20,000 is certainly something that needs to be budgeted for, but you are paying for the expertise of this company. You're paying for the safety of that expertise.
And the customization of it. Fully customized. Now, if somebody says, oh, that is just way too out of budget, we would love to do it. There are tons of other options and other tour providers that do offer small and large group tours that do include safaris.
Okay.
If you would rather be more rustic. So there are tons of other companies. It really just depends on the type of experience you're looking for. And if you're fine traveling with a small group, it actually can be done for much less.
I absolutely love this.
It was a life-changing trip. It was something that I don't think my husband and I will ever forget. And we don't create vacation shrines in our home, but we actually do have a small area of our photos and a memory book that we made and artifacts or, souvenirs and things that we brought back because it was just that special to the two of us.
This sounds like an amazing trip. Wonderful conversation. Tell me again what company you're with and what you do for them.
It's Lindsay Smith, Marvelous Mouse Travels.
Spell Lindsay for me.
I'm Lindsay with an A, so I'm Lindsay. So Lindsay Smith, Marvelous Mouse Travels. I'm also on Instagram. You can also email me, and that is lindsay.smith, Lindsay with an A, lindsay.smith at Marvelous Mouse Travels, and travels does have an S.com. Or you can give me a call, shoot me a text, and we can set up a time to talk. And that number, do you mind? Yeah. Okay. I was going to say it's 207-370-9748.
Fantastic. That's it for this week on The Nurtured Woman. A big thank you to Lindsay for sharing her unforgettable anniversary adventure with us. I'm still stuck on the image of just sitting on the porch while elephants wander by. Absolutely wild in the best way. Thanks so much for listening. If you haven't heard the last couple of episodes, go back and check them out. One's all about doing Disney on a budget, and the other is a Viking River cruise to Paris at Christmas with free airfare. But hurry, that deal only lasts until the end of June. See you next week. Want to get your business in front of an engaged audience? Podcast ads boost brand awareness by 28%. That means more people remembering you. The Nurtured Woman podcast is the perfect place to share your message. We'll craft a custom ad and feature it in the middle of the show. Don't miss this chance to connect with our listeners in a meaningful way. Let's get your business heard. Reach out today to Michele Droll at mdroll@lknconnect.com. A big thank you to our featured sponsor, Bleaches NC, your expert carpet and upholstery cleaning service. From stubborn stains to odors, they tackle it all with safe, effective solutions. Don't forget, mention the Nurtured Woman podcast for 15% off your first cleaning. Call 984-51-GRIME today. Buying a home is a huge decision, and Kristen is the realtor you want by your side. Professional, trustworthy, and genuinely invested in finding the right home for you. Kristen handled all the details and made the process seamless for my family. Whether you're buying or selling, Kristen is here to guide you every step of the way. Call Kristen Dorninger at 704-928-6573, agent with Southern Homes of the Carolinas.